You walk into a room and someone immediately dislikes you. You haven't said a word. You haven't done anything, but you can feel it. The cold energy, the judgment, the instant rejection, and you have no idea why. Turns out, it's not about you at all. It's about what you represent. And psychology explains exactly why certain people will hate you on sight without ever knowing you. The first reason is projection. People don't see you. They see their own insecurities reflected back at them. If someone hates themselves for being weak, they'll hate you for appearing strong. If someone is ashamed of their lack of discipline, they'll resent you for being disciplined. If someone feels stuck, they'll despise you for being free. You're not doing anything to them. You're just existing in a way that highlights what they hate about themselves. And instead of dealing with their own issues, they make you the problem. Because hating you is easier than fixing themselves. Psychologists call this projection. It's a defense mechanism. The brain protects the ego by externalizing internal conflict. You become the target because you're a mirror, and they don't like what they see. So they blame the mirror instead of changing the reflection. The second reason is envy, and not the kind you think. It's not about what you have. It's about what you are. Envy gets triggered when someone perceives that you possess something they want, but believe they can't have. Money, success, looks, confidence, freedom, independence, happiness. If they think those things are achievable, they're motivated to work for them. But if they believe those things are out of reach, envy turns into resentment, and resentment turns into hatred. You didn't do anything to earn their hatred. You just have something they want and don't believe they can get. So instead of admiring you or learning from you, they hate you. Because hating you is a way to cope with their own feelings of inadequacy. If they can convince themselves you don't deserve what you have, they feel better about not having it. You're unworthy. You're fake. You're lucky. Whatever story they need to tell themselves to avoid the painful truth that they could have what you have if they were willing to do what you did. The third reason is threat perception. Your existence threatens their worldview. Maybe you're successful without following the rules they think are mandatory. Maybe you're happy without the things they think are necessary. Maybe you're confident without the validation they're addicted to. Whatever it is, you prove that their beliefs about how life works might be wrong. And that's terrifying, because if their beliefs are wrong, then they've been living wrong. They've been sacrificing for nothing, suffering for nothing, conforming for nothing. So instead of questioning their beliefs, they attack you. Because if they can discredit you, dismiss you, or destroy you, they can protect their worldview. You're not just a person to them. You're a threat to their entire framework for understanding reality, and humans will go to extreme lengths to protect their Kwanzaa even when it's a prison. The fourth reason is social comparison. Humans constantly compare themselves to others. It's automatic. And when the comparison makes them feel inferior, they experience psychological pain, real pain. Studies show that social comparison activates the same brain regions as physical pain, and people avoid pain. So when being around you makes them feel less than, their brain looks for a way to stop the pain. One option is to improve themselves. That's hard. The other option is to tear you down. That's easy. If they can find flaws in you, focus on your mistakes, spread rumors, or diminish your achievements, they reduce the psychological pain of comparison. You drop in their mental ranking. They rise. Pain stops. Hatred is just a tool for emotional regulation. They don't actually hate you. They hate how they feel when they compare themselves to you. But since they can't control their feelings, they try to control you. By atting you, by undermining you, by hoping you fail. Because your failure makes them feel better about themselves. The fifth reason is unresolved trauma. People who've been hurt carry that hurt with them, and sometimes you remind them of the person who hurt them. You might look like someone, sound like someone, act like someone, carry yourself like someone, and their brain makes an unconscious association. Suddenly they're reacting to you as if you're that person, even though you're not, even though you've done nothing. This is called transference, and it's incredibly common. Someone who is betrayed by a confident person will distrust all confident people. Someone who was hurt by someone successful will resent all successful people. Someone who's abandoned by someone independent will fear all independent people. You're not the problem. You're just triggering an old wound. And instead of recognizing that and healing it, they project their unresolved pain onto you. They make you the villain in a story that has nothing to do with you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Because the hatred isn't based on reality. It's based on their unprocessed past. Here's what all 5 of these have in common. The hatred has nothing to do with your actions. It's entirely about their internal state. Their insecurities, their envy, their threatened beliefs, their painful comparisons, their unhealed trauma. You're just a screen they're projecting onto. And understanding this is liberating, because it means you can stop trying to figure out what you did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. You're just existing. And your existence triggers something in them that they haven't dealt with. That's not your responsibility. You're not obligated to shrink yourself to make insecure people comfortable. You're not required to fail, so envious people feel better. You're not supposed to hide your truth to protect someone's fragile worldview. You're not expected to dim your light so someone else's darkness feels less obvious. This is why trying to win over people who irrationally hate you is pointless. You can't logic someone out of an emotional position they didn't logic themselves into. You can't prove yourself to someone who's determined to misunderstand you. You can't earn the approval of someone whose disapproval has nothing to do with you. They don't hate you because of who you are. They hate you because of who they aren't. And no amount of explanation, justification, or accommodation will change that, because the problem isn't solvable from your end. It's solvable from their end. And they're not interested in solving it. They're interested in blaming you for it. So what do you do when people hate you for no reason? You accept Italiano, not with bitterness, not with resentment, with understanding. You recognize that their hatred is information about them, not about you. And you move on. You don't waste energy trying to convert people who are never going to like you. You don't perform for approval you're never gonna get. You don't shrink to fit into someone else's comfort zone. You just keep being who you are, and you let them hate you, because their hatred doesn't define you. It defines them. It shows their wounds, their fears, their limitations, and none of that is your problem. The people who matter won't hate you for no reason. They'll see you clearly, appreciate you honestly, support you genuinely. And the people who hate you for no reason were never your people anyway. They were always meant to be observers of your life, not participants. And that's fine. You don't need everyone to like you. You don't need everyone to understand you. You just need to be true to yourself and trust that the right people will recognize that truth and value it. The wrong people will hate it, and their hatred is actually a filter. It keeps them away from you, protects you from wasting time on relationships that were never going to work, saves you from people who would have drained you, undermined you, or held you back. So if people hate you for no reason, don't take it personally. It was never personal. It was always about them. Their pain, their fear, their insecurity, their unmet needs, their unhealed wounds. You just happened to be there when it all bubbled to the surface. And instead of dealing with it, they aimed it at you. That's human, that's predictable, that's understandable. But it's not your burden to carry. Let them hate you. Let them talk. Let them judge. And you keep moving. Keep growing. Keep being exactly who you are. Because the people who hate you for no reason are background noise. And background noise doesn't get to dictate the direction of your life.